too much of the time because we going like tonight we talking about something that's very very near and dear to my heart, which I don't really talk about a lot, but relationships. Like, y'all know, I am a lover of all things my husband. Y'all know that. But I do have a lot of friendships, and I have a lot of close relationships with people, because like I said before, we kind of got going here. One of the things that the way one of the ways in which I love, is by helping and being a help to others. So because I'm always just an honest person who like, oh, I can help out with that. I don't mind helping out with that. It builds a lot of relationships with me. Like I got really good solid friendships. I got really good solid people in my life, because I that's how I love people. So I'm really big at taking care of and cultivating the relationships that pour into me, because yeah, I love it when I get to be my most authentic self. Like when I get to be 100% of the me, that I know that I am, the version of me that makes me the most happiest, which I think I'm in that portion of my life now where I'm walking in exactly who God created me to be. When I get to be able to walk in my purpose and my fullness in God and be the version of me that makes me most happy, like that really be good times for me, because like I said, I'm a very busy person. I always got something going on by choice. Nobody makes me busy. The way my nature set up, I always got to keep busy. I always got something going on. I have a lot of good relationships with people, so I always make sure that I so into those relationships. So I'm always busy and doing things. That's why I said sometimes I get tired because I'm just, whoo, I got so much going on. But thank God for the strength to be able to do it all. But because I'm always busy, because I always got so much going on, like it, I have to be intentional about my time that I'm pouring, into my relationships, and that's something really too. And I do try to do that to the best of my ability, but that's something that take work. The relationships that are safe for me in this portion of my life, because I think right now, as a part of my testimony, I would just love to share that. God is bringing me to a place in my life where I'm okay with who I am, no matter who looking. Like, sometimes I feel like in our life we have to put ourselves into boxes, depending on what room we in. Cause we come out the house in rows. When I go up to my son's school, I'm Jackson's mom. I'm not coming up in here as Deborah that went to Central. Like I'm Jackson's mom, so I'm in a role. When I as a daughter, when I talk to my mom, I'm a daughter. That's my mama. So that's a role. Even though we cool, we close, we could talk about everything. There's still some things that my role as a daughter limit me from saying to my mother. When I'm dealing with my son, I'm a mother. When I'm dealing with my coworkers, I'm a employee at this job. So there's some things I'm not gonna say because I'm an employee at this at this job. So like when we come out of ourselves and we meet in any relationship, we come into any relationship we have with anybody, we have a role there. So one of the things that I've come to learn in this portion of my life is that who I'm becoming, the more and more I choose to follow Jesus. Anytime I come out and I'm in any of these roles, I'm starting to feel more like myself because of who God is creating me to be. The things that God is kind of cleaning up in me, and the things that God is kind of challenging me to fix and clean and get right. It's really defining me. And the more I walk, I feel like in the direction God sent me in, the more I'm starting to feel like what my purpose is. And in my purpose, I'm starting to feel more like myself than I ever have. Like I feel like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is how I'm supposed to be parenting. This is how I'm supposed to be handling the PTA. This is how I'm supposed to be handling my coworkers. Like I'm feeling like myself in all my roles, and God is doing that for me. And I'm able to still feel, even when I'm in all those roles, the most like myself, like me, like the whimsical person God created me to be, and the way that I, be able to grow that spirit, the girl that I most resonate, my most happiest self, God's growing that out of me based on the people that I keep around me that make it safe for me to be that, for me to expose that. I'm let me tell you, I don't really talk about relationships a lot because I think everybody's experience It's different. But my testimony about always having great relationships like that, that's not something that I say that sound good just to say it on Bible study because we talking about relationships. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking about how God has always put me in a place, even no matter what was happening, good or bad, He always blessed me with good people in my life. Like whether the people taught me what I should or should what I should be doing or what I should not be doing, based on the character that God was growing inside of me. And so I'm sometimes in certain rooms, I used to feel where I had to dial back some of my character. And I used to be ashamed of some of those things. But when I'm in the room where there is room for me to be, those are the relationships and the people that I want to pull in closer to me, especially at this time in my life, because I decided I'm gonna pick up and I'm gonna follow Jesus. So now I'm following Jesus and I'm turning into somebody that I never been before. I definitely want people around me, relationships around me, for where people are helping me as I'm in a vulnerable time in my life and I'm growing and I'm changing. I don't want nobody's negativity around me. I don't want no relationships around me that's gonna pick at the growth that I'm trying, because when relationships take work. One of my friends told me this one time, and it always stuck with me. She told me that all relationships take work, but you have to find one that's worth the work. Like you're gonna have to do some work in any way in any relationship that you're in. I'm in a season of my life. It's not that I don't want to work, but because I'm already working on me, I don't want something coming and taking away at the work that I'm already doing, because the work that I'm doing on myself is worth it. And the relationships that grow me into being the person that's continuing to work on myself, them relationships is worth the work. And the relationships that I've been blessed with, even with like my relationship with my family, my relationship with my mom and dad. Let's start my relationship with my mom and dad. Like can't nobody tell me nothing wrong about Noah and Doris. I don't care what nobody say, because of the relationship that I have with them in my role as parents. I always seen them as very present parents. I always seen them as at their heart wanting to teach me right from wrong, good and bad, do the right thing. But everything that my parents ever taught me, whether it was spiritual or not, it was always love first. Everything you do, you doing in love. When my mom would talk to me about certain things, she would always tell me, it's not about how people treat you, it's about how you treat people. And she will always instill certain things in me that kind of stuck with me as like, man, like I want to be that type of person who feel like that about people. So I looked up to my parents. Do I think my parents was perfect? I'm not saying that, but my experience with them shaped out the character in me that I wanted to continue to grow. So like there's people who pour into our life in a way that make us feel like what they're giving us and what their presence brings to us can grow things in us. My parents is the very first solid foundation that I have for love. That's why I reference them first. No relationship that I have now is not influenced by the love that I felt from my mom and dad. They taught me about how to not just experience God's love, but to return love to others. That's why I said one of the things that I do when I love people, one of the ways I love people is by how I help. I love helping people, but my parents they put that in me. Like it ain't about how people treat you. It's about how you treat people. Always show yourself being kind, because if you always showing yourself doing the right thing, it don't matter what somebody's saying wrong about you. So there's certain things about my character that I grew in me out of the relationship that found in me. Everybody's experience ain't like that. That's why I said I'm blessed to have had very good relationships, because I'm not saying that's everybody's experience, but that's exactly where I learned to love from my mom and dad, and then that carries on into every other relationship that I have with with my brothers and sisters, with my husband, with my friends, with my son. Like so, there being able to love freely and from an open space that's not jaded by things, by experiences, that's always who I think I wanted to be in my life. And that's what makes me feel the most like me. One of the very reasons why I need God so bad, guys, is because um, having a big, good, open heart like that, the enemy will try to use some things to wipe that out of you. And so in living apart from God, I made some choices where it was concerning relationships or things that I decided to do in my Deb isms or ways that I perceive things, and they kind of built some things up in me that now on this side of my journey with Christ, I got to heal from because I, I have work to do within me in order to be able to still freely pour the love that I know that's deep down that I want to give, the me in me that I want to give. So I know, yeah. Listen. I don't often talk about relationships because I just not something that I'm not open with sharing because my in my me personally, I'm a very guarded person, which is one of the things that God is working out of me. So me sharing a lot of things, I don't, especially about my relationship. I'm always been not a girl that did that. Like even back in the day, like my friends had to pry stuff out of me because I just never was a sharer. I'm just a guarded person. But I think that it's important to be honest about some of these things that we're encountering in our journey with Christ because no matter what relationships we're talking about, if we're talking about our relationship with our spouses, our relationships with our family, our relationships with our friends, any relationship that we in. The one constant that we have apart from the relationships is that we are still in our personal journey with Christ. Are we still walking every day in our personal journey with Christ? And what I mean by that is, in order for us to be the best version of ourselves to give to those relationships, we still got to be doing the inner work that we need to do to get to where God can guide us into our best selves. It really be worth the work for me to come in here every week when I don't want to come in here and talk about things like my business, to do it because God said I'm being obedient. I don't want to. I do not like going live on the internet. Yeah, y'all can run this back. I said it. I'm gonna keep going live on the internet because it wasn't my call to do this in my journey with Christ, as I'm going up, because I'm still got my personal journey with God. He's working things out of me where he's saying, I know you might not want to do this, but you're gonna be better for it on the other side if you do. So I'm working on myself right now really hard. And it's a vulnerable time because I really want to get this thing right. The relationships that I'm taking with me along this journey, the ones that are continuing to help me grow in the manner of which it's continuing my journey, them the ones I want to put the work into. The ones that make me feel the most like myself. The ones that make me feel like it's safe to be here. The ones that making me feel like, okay, girl, you got this. Keep going. I know it's hard. Also, the ones that call me to the carpet. The ones that say, mm-mm, not your best look, not the best you, and the ones that challenge me, those are worth the work too. But when I'm coming to realize in relationships, um is that I have to remember that while I'm working on my spiritual journey really hard, other people on their other they on their journey too. They working out some things in them too, like they're doing their work too. So it's not just me acknowledging that I'm working on myself and I got work to do. God really revealed to me that, bro, you got to be knowledge, you got to be graceful to understand that the people you keeping close, they got work, they working too. They worth this work, it's worth it too. And I saw that like, oh God, I feel like you've been a I feel like you've been trying to tear me apart and change some things in me again, and that don't feel good. And he did because there's some stuff that's built up in us that programs us to just. For me, for instance, I think about myself a lot, and I didn't realize I was that selfish because I think about my own feelings in response to get into a situation. Like, for instance, w- one of the things that I am working on right now is moving my feelings out the table so that I can hear exactly what's being said. Because listen, I don't know what it is with me, but I can't take somebody talking to me crazy. Don't talk, don't get smart with me a little bit. It put a trigger up in me. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I'm being respected right away. Um, and one of the things that God is really dealing with me in is like you get so carried away with how something is said that you miss that you really need to hear it. Maybe sometimes it's allowed to be said that way to get your attention because I really need to hear it. Because sometimes my feelings behind the way somebody say something to me makes me miss the message that God really sent somebody to tell me. And I'm realizing in relationships that the closer somebody is to you, the better view they got of the version of you that you really are. And for me, I don't think that nobody in this world know me better than my husband. And the reason why I say that is because, like, y'all, in my walking with Christ, there's a lot of things that God is privately healing in me. I'm gonna tell y'all honestly, I keep it pretty cool, calm, and collected, but I am a certified crash out. I am not kidding you. I I can go, I can go. Like, I'm not kidding. So, like, one of the things that God is working on me, because, like, girl, you know that case day. You gotta calm down. I'm managing the way I respond to things. And in managing the way I respond to things, I always do that in front of people. But I don't always do that in front of Jackson and Jarrell. And so sometimes they get to see things that I bottle up and don't nobody see. But they got to be the ones to call it out in me because they're the ones that's closest. Now, if you safe enough for me to have one of them crash outs in front of you, the only people I want there is people who are going to remind me, now you know you're not trying to be this way. Now you know you need to come on now. I know you working here because it takes listen, man, it sometimes it's so difficult for me to hear things about myself that I don't like because I not that I don't want to change, but I say, oh, man, I don't I can't accept the narrative or something. Like, no, that's not, but it's the people that's closest to us that got to really put the microscope on us and tell us about ourselves. That's challenging when somebody trying to tell you that you something that you think you're not. You thought that was cute, but it really ain't cute. And so I really thank God that God loves me so much that even the people that He put in my life, He put them the ones that gotta tell me about myself. Even when I'm in crash out mode, He know who to put in my life for me to be able to be helped and be changed, because like it's it is so difficult to have a mindset for 30 something years and then God reveal, you got to start addressing this, to just accept that, like that. If everything God told us to do was just easy for us to do it, in what way would we need to surrender to Him? There's some things that God brought to my attention that I'm like, no, I'm not changing this. Like, are you? This is I had to surrender certain things about my personality, in certain areas for God to reveal to me. If you don't, this gonna bother your marriage. And I telling you, one of my safest spaces is with my husband. This is not because of some spectacular personality trait that my husband got. He is really cool though and funny, and he play chess. So like, he kind of a little bit of a nerd, but he not really because he a cool dude. So like, everything about him just kind of make me feel in a place where I go to my little schoolgirl happy. Because it's not really about exactly who my husband is. It's about how my husband makes me feel about who I am. Like, and he makes me feel like I'm empowered and like I can do anything. Like the way he encouraged me, even when I gave my life to Christ, that was in the middle of our marriage. Now I'm dropping like, okay, well, we're following Jesus now. He came with me and said, this what we're doing. Like, he encouraged me, he support me, like he makes me feel like I don't gotta hide this part of my life from you. And also, you gonna hold me accountable to be who I'm saying I'm being. Like, I'm really I love and that's why I measure things by that relationship. But my husband is still on his own personal journey with Jesus. There's things in his life that he get to work out between him and God, just like me. I get to work on myself between me and God as well. So I have to make sure that I'm understanding and giving grace to the work I'm doing and also the work that he doing on his journey. So when he got to tell me, bro, that's the way you are and the way you acting like that, I can't get defensive all the time and having to receive something I don't like. Because sometimes the devil use my emotions to make me only think about the way something is said to me. And if I can't think about nothing else. If you said it in a way that I feel like I don't like the way you said that, I'm only focused on my own feelings. I'm only focused on my own feelings. I'm only focused on how something make me feel. Quay, you coming off mute? You coming off mute to talk? Okay, mute yourself then. Come on. But yeah, so like it's a lot of work that it takes for us to be able to maintain the relationships that we have with people that God placed in our lives for, like, to challenge us, to grow us, to make us better. So we talking about relationship talk tonight, how it's worth the work. I done got us all the way through the intro. So talking, 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 talking. But again, one of the truths that we have to be anchored in is that the work we do within ourselves, it determines the health of the relationships that we build around us. Our relationships are only as healthy as we are. That's why I'll keep coming back and saying, like, we got to remember we on our journey and somebody else is too. We all working through our things together. Like, so but we have to remember that the work that we do within ourselves, that's what's going to determine how healthy our other relationships are, the ones that we build around us. Um, I'm going to jump right into the notes here. Here we go. The relationships that matter are most often the ones that require us to grow. Not grow into someone that we're not, but really grow into who we truly are. The version of ourselves that we love the most is the version that feels the most honest, the version that feels the most secure, the version that feels the most aligned. I honestly tell y'all, like, I haven't felt more like myself than I ever had in, like, the last couple of years in my life, when I started walking in the path God put before me. Like, I really feel like I'm maturing in a way that I'm like, man, I'm really adulting. Thank you, Jesus, for growing me up. But the version of ourselves we love the most is the version that feels the most honest, the most secure, the most aligned. And the people who allow us to show up as that person, they work the work that it takes to keep them there. The people who allow us to be able to be the most ourselves, to be the most honest we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to hate that feeling where I had to walk into a room and I had to act accordingly. Because of the insecurities that I used to have. Like, everybody don't have this issue. This is just the work I had to. I was an insecure in a lot of ways, and I feel like when I walked in a room, I sometimes I felt like I had to be less of who I am in order to fit into certain spaces. So, like, I just thank God that now that God is kind of showing me that who I was always something that the room needed. So I just thank God that I'm completely in the mindset now to where whoever He created me into, I want to be that, because I am having a good time following His guidance into what he God really wants us to be our best selves. Like, I sit back and think about that sometimes. It's like the God's plan for us, y'all, like, we can't even fathom what that look like. And God really want us to be the best version of ourselves. So when we start to do the things and do the work that it takes for us to align our hearts to what God's desires are for her, bruh, like, when I say life get lit, and like it ain't no some, I'm not saying like, oh, it get lit and stuff stop happening. No, like, but everything that does come at you now, it feels so much different when you was fighting it before. Like, God really want us to live our best life. Like, I really am grateful in, like, the journey that I've taken for myself over the last couple of years, because God really been blowing my mind at who He changing me into. Like, I literally feel like, man, I knew I was always this girl. I just didn't have the courage to step out and be her. So, like, the people who really encourage me and support me to grow and to be able to have even that happiness for myself, to be able to walk authentically, it really be worth the work that it takes to grow those relationships, and it really be worth the work that it takes for me to change so I can be my best version in those relationships. Because um that's I want to take care of my blessing. The people who allow us to show up as the person are worth the work it takes to remain there. Healthy relationships don't thrive on convenience. They thrive on intentional effort, communication, forgiveness, consistency. Like, one of the things that I love about my husband is that, like, we are so not alike, like, but we alike at the same time. Like, we have to be very intentional about loving each other because we have differences. Like one of the things that I'm one of the things that I love doing is watching movies. Babe, if I could sit and watch movies all day, I would. I'm probably gonna fall asleep, but if I wasn't so tiresome in my older age, I would just sit and watch movies all day. Because I grew up watching movies. I was a church kid, and we watch. One of the things, we couldn't listen to a lot of secular music. Well, none really. But we used to watch a lot of movies. So the kid in me resonates a lot of my happy times to growing up watching musicals. Like, there's not a musical you can name that I don't know, sing, and dance to. I am a nerd. I do not care. I am not ashamed. But my husband ain't grow up watching old musicals. Like, that's not his thing. So like, but one of the things in musicals I used to love like the soundtrack to the movies. And one of my like guilty pleasures is 80s music. But another thing, I tell you, my husband is in so many ways so unlike me, but he find intentional ways to pour love into me. I could come into the house getting ready to clean up, do certain things. Man done went and got the Bluetooth speaker, made me an 80s playlist, cut the music on. Having a long day, he might cut the 80s playlist on, get me all kicked up, get my favorite show on. Like, he don't care about that stuff, but he care about me, and I know that it might not seem like, okay, that's a really big deal to somebody like me. It's one less thing that I got to think of, or nothing. It's something nice that's done for me that I can, oh man, I can rest it like, oh, he liked me, and for me that ignite my little schoolgirl heart, and that make me love him even more. Like, that that show me intentionality, that show me that he's intentional about the things that he do, to just think about me. He don't care about Greece, but he'll sit and let me explain to him why I love the movie Grease. And even if he sitting there making jokes about it, but we still intentional about spending time together, doing something that I like. And like, I feel like in moments like that where God remind me of how good that feel when things come up, because things come up in relationships. Yeah, everybody come into a relationship today. I came with my own stuff, he came with his own stuff. Everybody's working on their journey. When it comes to a situation where now maybe we ain't cool that day, and where we gotta talk some things through. We ain't cool that day. I'm trying to, God reminds me of moments that I had like that, because sometimes when I feel like I'm the one who's in the right, but I told y'all I'm a crash out. Like, he know that because he the closest one to me. I came here with stuff. Yes, I'm trying to walk with Jesus, but I'm still working out the things that are rooted in me. This is uncomfortable space. This don't happen in front of our friends. This don't happen in front of our sisters. This don't happen in front of our coworkers. It happens in the relationships where we the closest. Like, this is where I know God reminds me, like, okay, while you sitting up here mad, or remember that he just put take on me on the other day. You went, you know what I'm saying? Like, God, I need these types of things. I need these type of reminders, because I'm working at the things in me that I need to still be present in that relationship. So when we have a situation where maybe we don't agree, I still got to be mindful to seek guidance from God. Lord, let me pray before I respond. Because it take intentional work in relationships for relationships to go. It ain't just about him putting on 80s playlists. I really need to leave this man alone for 2 hours while he pick teams. I'm intentional about not bothering him about that. That's important to him. I am intentional about finding ways to love him back in the mannerisms that he received, that what make him feel good. Y'all, you listen, they playing Purple Rain at the remaster. I know you love everybody that know you love Prince. Let's go see Purple Rain. Like, it's intentional things that it takes in relationships, that I really, 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 really am learning that God has to really work with your girl. When it comes to doing my inner work, because I don't want to lose or mess up. I ain't gonna say mess up. I don't want the devil to get in between certain things and cause us to miss out where God done blessed us, because we don't want to do the work that we got to do ourselves. We still on our own personal journey. And that's what I keep reminding myself is, whatever work is worth you doing is worth the grace you giving for work that other people doing. It's worth the work that it take for you to get yourself to make sure that that you heard it from a place not from being upset, but you really heard what was going on. I'm a very private person, so I don't do this anything anyway. But I'm not. One of the things I'm not doing is I'm not calling a whole bunch of people trying to tell them about a problem that I had. I don't want to. I get that sometimes we need advice, but what I'm listen, I'm not a relationship advice giver, but I will tell you this, sis out here, don't run to a lot of people with your business when it comes between you and your spouse. Like you that because when you want to go tell your friend your business, that's his business too, fam. Like and that's one of the things that I'm really, really, really glad that it was never really an issue for me. But like we need to give each other in relationships that's safe, they should be safe overall. While I'm working out my stuff and I'm going through, I expect my husband to cover me. I'm gonna cover him too. When my homegirl going through it and she safely come to me about, because I know that when I'm down and my wits in and I need somebody to pray for me, my homegirl is the one that I can call. I'm gonna cover her too. You can't bring me a. Wait, I don't know. I didn't see nothing on the internet. I don't want to talk about that. I don't know what they put out there. No, I'm gonna cover her too. I'm not gonna go to a whole bunch of people talking about or talking amongst people that I found that are safe for me, because that's important to me. So like when you got a relationship that's really pouring into you and doing right by you, it's wise not to go and run to a whole lot of people when you got something going on where it's something where y'all growing together, because these relationships, they take a lot of work, and they take a lot of not just examining for ourselves. I've been in a situation with my friend where I think we had come to a point to where we both had to challenge each other to grow. Like we was either gonna fall out and we wasn't gonna talk no more, or we was gonna challenge each other to change. And we actually tried it to fall out and not talk to each other no more. And this how I know that God brings people into my life in a space where I need people to be, because there's things that I saw in myself as a response to having a fallout with my friend that I never want to see again. It made me see myself in the light, like, okay, um, you can't have this within you and have this person in your life. And you got to work this out, because it's not going to help you in the long run. And sometimes when you feel like you ain't been wronged and you ain't been the one in the wrong and you didn't do it wrong and you did everything right, and you're not in the wrong, it's hard for you to see where it might still be something in you that need to change. But God put the right people to love us in the right ways, to show us with love, like in the way God has been putting people in my life to challenge me. It ain't been more than I can bear. And it really I really am in a space in my life now um, where the devil can try it if he want to. Hit me with your best shot, cuz, because my faith done got so rooted in, like, not just by my faith in God, the people God put in my life to pour into me. And what it did, it opened me up to see who I really am now. Bro, now you can't tell me nothing. You can't stop me. You can't say anything to me. You thought you should have got me when I was out there, but now. So the relationships that give me that drive to be the best Deb I can be, I'm doing whatever it is I gotta do to make sure that I'm putting the work in. I'm doing whatever it is I gotta do to make sure that I'm working on me, doing the things I gotta do, saying the things I gotta say, making sure I'm setting the proper boundaries that I need to set. Because it's a thing that we can't do, and we can't do this without God, man. If you trying, you crazy. I wouldn't recommend 0 stars, because sometimes the people that's closest to us, that see the reflection and closest, they gotta reveal us some stuff to us that we didn't even know that we had in it, and that is ugly. It get down and dirty. And I thank God for having safe people that as I am learning and growing and changing, like they holding me accountable, but they ain't kicking mud in my face about it. They ain't, they know I shouldn't be this way, but they loving me through it. Like I couldn't ask for a better spouse in my husband because he individualized the way he loved me to a point where I'm like, man, God, you okay. You know I needed that. You know I needed that. But likewise, there's some things that need to be driven out of me that I only hear it when he say it. People, anybody can say it. But when he said it, I'm like, I gotta take this serious because God really want me to hear it. And so but that happens when you put God at the head of a relationship that you have with anybody. Because we pray about stuff now. We don't just talk about it. We pray for each other. We don't just talk about it. When my friends is going through and we pray together. We don't just talk about it. Like it battles are won in prayer. I've been teaching my son that this week because I have been going through a little bit of something in my heart. That was a me and God thing. And it was making me kind of like not my best dad self. So my son was kind of checking in on me and like worrying about me. And he was like, Mom, he said, he always say, your decibels are low. You're not talking very loud. So I just feel like you kind of sad. And it was a sad week, guys. It was a sad week in my heart because I was working through some things, and it was hard to not wear it. Cause man, God will take you. He take me through there. He did. He took me through there, man. Like it was rough out here, but I thank God that I was able to even show my son as I went through for a couple of days and kind of transitioned, and God started to help me get my joy back as he was teaching me what he was teaching me. And I went back to my son. After he was like, "Man, Maya, you feeling good today?" I said, "Yeah, I've been praying," and I started to teach him that battle. That's where battles are won. I'm praying to God. I'm asking God to take how I feel and remove that from me, and it would spend me days going back and forth in prayer with God, putting things down, bringing it back. It didn't happen overnight where I felt better, but I promise I kept coming back. Like, bruh, I'm back today, God. It still hurt. I need you to help me with it or show me what I need to do, how to respond, help me. Yeah, I was going back every day begging God to intervene because I keep remembering whatever it is that rile something up in me. I gotta check why I feel like I'm riled about it. Cause I'm teaching my son, manage your big emotions. Why you so mad, bro? So when God started to speak to me on things I kept coming to him with and started to tell me, oh, you really the problem? Man, it was a rough couple of days working that out. It was a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's so worth it because I'm able to get back to feeling my good spirited self. I feel better for it. I feel better now today because I checked myself about where I was wrong in my heart and in my space because I want to hold myself accountable because I'm on my listen, I want to live my best dead life. And since I've been following God, that's it's been a good time. Things get hard, but God never leave me. Like I can't make this stuff up, y'all. I wish it was a situation where like I'm like, okay, I done turned into some Christian podcaster. No, this not everyday life. God come and see about me. And I be like, my mind be blown. And I don't do nothing but share because I feel like somebody can understand in a practical way, just like I can. Yo, every day God is doing this for you. And they might choose to follow his guidance and live their best life. Because that's what God wants for us. God wants us to be the best possible version of ourselves that we can be. And I feel like even the relationships that he allowed around us, he put people around us that can help pour into us, mature us, and help us to become better at who God called us to be. I am grateful for that because my situation could be a lot different. Even with anything that I've been through, I thank God because I know I got through it because of him, because it was worth it. Listen, y'all, how I feel when I hear that 80s playlist come on is worth it. I'm telling you, like, think about the place in your heart where you go to where you feel your most loved. I got a few places like that. When God bring people into my life that can put me into that love space, that safe space, I need that. That's what make me thrive. That's what make me go. That's what give me life. That's what give me energy. So I love so much the people in my life who help me to be my most authentic self and to walk in my most authentic, like, just joy, like, and I need that in my spiritual journey because I'm still journeying. Like, listen, I'm feeling good, but life life didn't stop life, things still be happening, but we find joy. One of the things I really do, really am grateful for is this, the joy that I get just being around my family. Like, it don't feel like, oh, here they go again. It's like, oh, hey, y'all. So that's a blessing. Like, and I thank God for those blessings. I'm sure y'all feel that way about y'all's family, y'all's kids. Like, y'all able to let y'all hair down and just be who y'all be, y'all goofy self, be silly, playful. Listen. My family be letting me practice my impersonations on them. Yeah, I mean, listen, I always be trying to do my little impersonations. Like, I am really unhinged, guys, when I'm outside of my roles, when I'm off of this Bible study. We have a good time, and I'm just a kid at heart, and I'm just really grateful that God gave me people who love me into a space where I feel loved and safe to be able to be that. I'm so grateful. So whatever I gotta do to put the work into those relationships, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be that. Like, I didn't even get to read all this stuff, y'all. I got the notes going on here, but um we definitely need to think about our own inner work and making sure that we doing that to be able to check our growth, man. So I'm moving down to the self work question. I ain't even gonna jump through the lesson. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard somebody come off mute. Okay. But our self work this week is walking like I talk it. It's our growth check in. Spend 10 quiet minutes with God just this week. Ask, who am I becoming? Journal one area where God is inviting you to grow. I always think of things that God brings to me when he bring things to my attention. Like over this past week, where I feel like I came to God crying with something I was feeling in my heart, and God consoled me for how I was feeling. But when those feelings subsided, what was on the carpet, I was faced with what I had to deal with, as far as like, okay, now I know you felt some type of way about this, but what was said was true. Like, I need you to I know you, okay? Now that your feelings out the way, I need you to know that what was said to you was true. And I feel like when God does that for us, it's an invitation for God to invite us to grow, to change, to fix something. And so, like, I'm really working hard on ooh, beating up that selfish version of me that immediately want to jump in my feelings about things, and really trying to find God's invitation is, if you God, if you challenge me in this relationship, in this area, what is it that you're trying to build out of me, or what you're trying to see? Give me your guidance here. So I feel like that anytime that we meet an opposition in our relationships with God, bring something to our attention, whether that be in our marriage, or something our spouse say to us. I listen, like, I am really, 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 really praying every day that God continues to make me a good listener, because sometimes my emotions cloud what I hear. So when our spouses are speaking to us and responding to us and saying certain things to us, I know, sometimes we hear it based on how we feel, and we don't hear it based on the information that we need to download. I really be praying that God work things out of me that let me stop hearing with how I'm feeling, and let me get the message, because I want I may not make 80s playlists, but I definitely want to make sure that I'm loving my husband correctly too. Like, if him being heard is a way that he need me to be intentional, I want to hear it. So, like, when God confronts me with things that I feel as if, like, okay, bruh, like, you're not good at this. This is an invitation for God to show me something that I need to do better, so that maybe that relationship can get better. Maybe I can grow in this area. Maybe getting rid of this bad listening will make you a better wife. It's a, that, this is this is the work that me and God doing. This is my husband don't even be knowing is going on in my head. But I have to be intentional about the work that I'm doing within me so that I can be the best version in every other role and relationship that's making me a better me. So when we stop and we like take this time with God to do these check-ins to like who am I becoming? Am I right? Am I tripping, God? Am I wrong? What do I need to hear? What do I need to address? Like it really takes self-work is really important when you putting in the work. Self-work is the work. Self-work is the work. Taking the time to just spend with God and talking through your stuff and doing the necessary heart check that you have to do when it comes to how you present yourself in to other people in relationships. Like I don't I sometimes I'm so busy, y'all. I could tell relationships. Not gonna say I could tell relationships. Um, I I'm really now better with deciding what deserve my attention and what don't. Like because I have had to set a lot of boundaries with relationships that I feel like, okay, this gonna be a lot of back and forth. And I don't not necessarily saying I don't love you. It's just saying that like I gotta be real mindful of where I'm putting my work into relationships that's not serving me. Like if it's back and forth, I know I'm gotta put a lot of attention here. So like I'm not gonna be putting no work into nothing that's not serving me in some kind of way. I'm better about that now. So I don't engage in a lot of back and forth about nothing. So the Lord is telling me, don't say nothing, do say something. Don't say nothing, be quiet. I'm chilling. I'm not matching energies. I'm not doing that. I'm not going back and forth with nobody. I'm really becoming a person who pray first before I act on anything. But there is some those relationships with people like that. I ain't gonna say people like that. Those relationships where I don't do a lot of engaging to put in, I would say putting in work. I don't give those a lot of my authenticity. They don't get the real me. It's the version that you get. This what you see is what you get. The ones who get to see me because they don't pour nothing into me, so I don't feel like you get what you get what you pay for. You know what I'm saying? So like the ones that God is putting in my life are people that helping me to grow and be better and move in my purpose. Like those are the ones that I really gotta I gotta be my best dead self here. So I have to reserve a lot of what I got to because what I don't give to others, I'm giving double, triple to the ones that serving me. So taking the proper time to work on who I am, because this is really where all my meat and potatoes is here. Everything is here. That's so important for me to do. It's so important for me to stop, to pray, to check me, to be like, okay, maybe I was tripping, to calm down because I told y'all before, I'm a certified crash out. This didn't make me stop being that, but these relationships give me a reason to use all my strength that the Lord is giving me to hold myself together there because these the ones that are making me be a better version of me. So when I think about self work for when it comes to putting in the work and doing I want to do whatever it takes for me to continue to be who the best version of myself that God want me to be because it's growing me in every other place and the people that's encouraging that them my people. So whatever work I gotta do, listen, if I gotta hear hard things and address hard things, cool, if I gotta learn to change, these the people I want to pour into me to help me. Sis, let me talk to you about this. Let me pray for you about this. Let me tell you about this. Like everybody ain't safe. And when you find somebody that is, man, that's really worth putting in the work for. Ask who I'm becoming this week in the self check. A journal, an area where God is inviting you to grow. God is inviting you to change, whether that be in your patience, your honesty, your forgiveness, your boundaries. If God is inviting you to create boundaries for certain relationships, that's a conversation that you really need to have. If God is inviting you to work on areas where you need to forgive people in relationships, that that's a conversation you have to have because we have to remember to give. Everybody walking in their own spiritual journey, man. It ain't just us. We fighting things, they fighting things too. Sometimes it takes some work to push past ourselves to be able to give people that we love and need grace so they can work on theirs. Sometimes I gotta push myself to the side because my son need me right then and there. So what I'm going through, it don't matter right here in this moment. I gotta push it aside because this relationship meaning more than me.
Good. Perfect time to interject. Is this the right meatloaf for your son?
Yes, that's the correct answer. But yeah, but it's God is inviting you to an area where you need to change patience, honesty, forgiveness, boundaries. The sit down and have that conversation and choose one intentional action that supports that growth. Um and pay attention to how your relationships respond when you show up healthier. When you show up as a better version of you, pay attention to how your relationships start to grow, or which ones start to fizzle out. It worked both ways. When you get better, things are started to reveal in the people around you, and I feel like that's a huge correlation. Like it's you, God reveals to us who's supposed to be and who not supposed to be. If we all we got to do is just keep following and trusting Him. So do the self work this week. Our self work says, this is your journal time. Who in my life makes me feel most like myself and why? What version of myself am I becoming through my closest relationships? Where is God inviting me to grow so my relationships can grow? And am I willing to do work required to sustain healthy connections? Says healthy relationships are worth the work because they don't ask us to lose ourselves. They ask us to find ourselves. The people who love us well are often alongside the work God is already doing within us. And that's all I have for us tonight. Crystal, I don't know if you want to call tonight, if you want to hop on and do the prayer. Maybe we lost Crystal. Oh, no, there she go. Mhm, mhm, mhm.